A Type 59 chassis with a strong frontal sloped armor plate, a 122mm gun, the WZ-120 1G FT is available now in World of Tanks Blitz. I'm going to show you my first 3 games ever in the first Chinese tank destroyer to be available in World of Tanks Blitz, so stay tuned! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, Tankers of Blitz Universe, to the channel. My name is martindogger and today I'm going to show you a review of the WZ-120 1G FT. Like that, it's the first tier 8 premium tank destroyer, Chinese premium tank destroyer available in the game. And yeah, no doubt about it, there will be a line of Chinese tank destroyers as well coming after this one. The tier 10 has already been shown on, I think, the Facebook and Instagram channels of Blitz. And yeah, the full line is bound to come, there's no doubt about that. These 3 games are, as said, the first 3 ever games I played in the tank. And I think you will have to thank the patrons of my channel for this review. I have a few patrons who sponsor me for the videos. And what I decided to do is take a look at the patron account which I have, to see if there was still money in it to buy the tank. It has a price tag of 49 euros, which is really high, but I decided to give something back to the community, to the patrons who have been reasonable enough and kind enough to sponsor me for my videos. So this is a bit of a thank you to all the patrons. Thank you very much for supporting, for sticking with me, with my noobness, with my videos. And yeah, this is a bit of a gift back towards you. As you can see, it has a good gun. The WZ, the Dragon Hunter, 122mm, gives you 400 average per shot, which is not really high actually. There are tank destroyers at tier 8 who do better at 640 and 460. But it has a mobile chassis. It's a bit like an SU-122-44, but then a tier higher with a slightly bigger and better gun. Especially in terms of penetration, not so much in terms of gun handling, even though the aim time is a bit better, and especially not in terms of damage. 400 is not brilliant, but this is an aggressive tank destroyer. If you are, like me, being here a bit uncareful, then you will get punished for it, but you can see 2k damage easily done with HE on that Bulldog and a very cheeky kill on the IS-6. But again, that aim time, it's not bad. It's not brilliant, but it's not bad either. So what I want to do on this video is go into the garage after this one, after we've seen the statistics, show you my consumables loader, and then I'll talk you through the stats and numbers as well. Nice little credit earner as well, the WZ-120 1G FT, the Dragon Hunter. I really have to start saying Dragon Hunter, but hey ho. And you can see shots on the M41 very easily with HE. And here are the credits: 87 gross income, 57 net, that's not too bad. Let's talk consumables then on the tank. It's pretty much the usual for the consumables. That means we have a repair kit, a multi-purpose repair and adrenaline, the big fuel on it, and then 2 rations. This is my loadout for the ammo, and I decided to do this with the equipment. Calibrated shells, improved modules, improved optics. I mean, rate of fire is good as it is, and I wanted to boost the penetration numbers. Decided to add enhanced armor because of the thick front plate, accelerator, vertical stabilizers, toolbox, and high-end consumables. So without any further ado, quick hop into the stats and numbers. And of course you have to compare the Dragon Hunter to the recently released ISU-130 and the 8.8 Jagdtiger. And I've decided to get one tank destroyer out of every nation in World of Tanks Blitz as well. So we have the ISU-152, the Borsig, the T-28 Proto, the AT-15 and the AMX-48. And if you then start looking at the business end, I mean, it's a tank destroyer after all, so you have to have some firepower. 2,554 DPM sits you pretty much in the middle of the pack. It's not as low as the Borsig or the French tank destroyer, but not as high as the AT-15 either. 2,500 gets the job done just easily. If you do compare it to the ISU-130, you do give up some DPM for better penetration, but you also give up a bit of DPM for better aim time. Look at that, 182, that's not bad, not bad at all. The AT-15 is far quicker, but every other tank is slower, especially if you look at, say, the Borsig or the Proto and the ISU-130 as well. .345 dispersion, not too bad. Jagdtiger is just a bit better, as you can see, but you do have 6 degrees of gunner pressure, and that's very good. 10 degrees of aiming arc to the left and the right. You haven't got that very strange 10 to the right and 2 to the left. Nor do you have that slightly smaller aiming arc of the ISU 152. And you do have very good frontal armor. It has 120 on the front, not the monumental casemate bunker-like thing of the Jagdtiger, but 120 set at a very good slope is a really good tank. And in terms of mobility, remember I said it's a Type 59 chassis. That means it has really good mobility. It's not a very heavy tank either, so 580 you would think, right, that's not a big engine, but your power to weight ratio is really good, your effective horsepower per ton is really good, your terrain resistance is really good, and you get a whopping 40 no mod traverse speed, 40 degrees per second. That means that any tank who is trying to circle you, any medium tank, they really have to know what they do, because you can keep up with them provided you start turning in time. So all in all, a very good, very strong tank destroyer for tier 8. And as mentioned, you are not the DPM machine really, but still 13 out of 110 tanks in tier 8, that's quite good in terms of DPM. You can see I've added the calibrated shells to show you what happens there. It gives you a penetration of 260, which is number 4 out of 110. Damage is 400. But if you go to your heat, it goes to 8 out of 108, which is strange, I think, actually, but yeah, I don't know why. Why is that 108 instead of 110? I mean, tier 8 battle do sometimes drop off then. Anyways, if you would add a rammer, then you go just under 3k of DPM, but it's half a shot more per minute, and I prefer to have 12 more in terms of penetration, so 260 on AP, I guess the job done just fine, scrolling down, armor profile. Armor Inspector hasn't updated yet, so I have to use this one on Blitzhanger, and that's really fine. Exterior modules on it, using the maximum gun depression of -6, and then turning all the way to the left or the right. You can see that lower plate, not brilliant, 126 at max. It is a lower plate which is vulnerable, so you have to hide that, and then you get this on your front plate. Look at that, around 300. That is a near autobahn zone. There's a very small patch underneath the gun, which is even better. You have spaced armor on the mantlet, you have a very thick gun mantlet as well. Look at that, 417. If you can get this tank held down, and then like this, and wiggle back and forth, and especially if you pull back at the end of a ridge, you go to 466. Nobody's going to go through that. But there's a downside. You would think it has no downside, because it really hasn't got a cupola either, which is completely hidden if you go hill down. You can see, but the sides, the sides are HE magnets. Look at that, 60 mils at 4 degrees, 91. It is slightly sloped, of course it is, but yeah, the sides will go through, and the rear as well, 31. That can be overmatched by a lot of tanks in the tiers you are facing, really. And the engine deck, yeah, it's 90, but the back isn't very good either. But the rear of the superstructure, only 30. That can get overmatched really easily. You do have a little bit of spaced armor on your sides, which might catch heat shots if you do a very careful side scrape maneuver. Can be done side scraping, but this, yeah, it's only 60 over here. It's not really brilliant. But the chassis, combined with the gun, combined with what the tank is, peekaboo, yeah, you don't have a turret, but it is a bit of a peekaboo tank, and it is a frontline tank, definitely. They say it's average, but it is a frontline tank. And if you watch my SU-122-44 review, then you know what I mean by frontline tank. You have a medium tank chassis. That means you can keep up with mediums and light tanks, no problem. Look at that, that's medium terrain. 50 kilometers per hour easily, just easily. I can get into position and have my gun aimed in even before my mediums are on the hill. There's no one popping. There are tanks popping on the right, so I relocate again. That's what you could do with a tank fairly easily as well. No problem, clocking up to 30. And the tank destroyer who is sitting in a position and just sitting there is doing it all wrong. You have to relocate. You can't snipe in the tank at a pinch. It hasn't got brilliant dispersion as I've shown all the sets and numbers. But if you don't use tanks like this in the role they are intended to, they are indeed a waste of time. They are a waste of money. You have to move it around and get it to... Yeah, it's like a fire squad really, where the need is dire. You have to take this tank into that spot. Because you do have 400 alpha, and the front of a Tiger 2, you can go through that one as well. Nice little engine fire on the Hafen. And we're gonna lose the flank here because my friendly IS-5 is going down, but I'm starting to work on the Tiger 2. And they are oblivious to me being there. They're just pushing in. I can now bounce and track him in place. As SU-152 takes out the Hafen, I can take out the Tiger. And I can then shoot the IS-6 and get a truckload, a real truckload of spotting damage. Just wait a little bit for him to turn his tank and track him, and then he gets whacked by the SU-152, giving me about 1k in terms of resistance damage. But you can see that gun combined with this chassis makes it a very potent tank destroyer. And here we go, 50 kilometers per hour. Whoop whoop. It's like a fire truck. And the traverse is good as well. You can just pull around this corner like that. No problem there. You have 10 degrees of gun traverse to the left and the right. And once you turn around and you let the gun fully aim in, you don't have to fully aim for shots like this. You can just blast in really. And if you wiggle around, you might bounce shots as well on your side. That's the 1815 in the corner, and the Warseek is getting whacked. And I'm gonna get whacked by the Warseek because I had a little bit of lag as I pulled across this ridge. And this was actually the first game I played on. I was hoping I would drive back now and then bounce a shot on the front plate, but I had a bit of lag and I pulled out too far. Nevertheless, he's down 2.2k damage, and we can start farming this 1815. And again, look at the aim time. That's not bad at all for a 122mm gun with 400 alpha. If you have an aim time that quick, couple that with the gun lane drive and a vertical stabilizer, you are getting in the pay-to-win areas really of WoT Blitz. And this is a ridiculously expensive vehicle. 49 euros. Crying out loud. It's really, really expensive. But like I said, I had some money left from the patrons and added some of myself as well. So I decided to do the video at my own gameplay, not any replays sent in by people or just stuff from Blitz Stars or Blitz Hangar, and then talk about the tank which you've never driven. This is a proper review of it. And this one was the second game. You can check the times. I'm not sure if you can check when I bought the tank actually. But I'm happy to share that with you. I bought it, I think 5 minutes before I started playing, and the one on mine was the first one, and this one was the second. And the first game in this video on Yamato Harbor was the third game I played. And on this one I was a bit hesitant to push because it is supremacy and my team is going towards A and we are not spotting anybody here. I'm not spotted even though I have good camouflage rating. The Tiger 2 is not getting spotted, as you can see. So I'm thinking, right, they are pushing on towards the A-cap and we have a tank behind us. Hello T-44. You can see again I can turn around very easily, put a nice 419 shell into him. And now I just wanted to go forward. I had no idea of the armor yet. Even though I had played the Yahtzee WZ121 GFT on console, which is the same thing, but then on console. So I knew I could go in and have a strong front plate. Thank you very much, Cheeries, for sitting there. I can put a nice HE shell into your side. And I got shot from the left here. And I'm going to get shot by the Cheery as well. I should have just stayed behind the rock really, but hey ho. What made me push actually is the fact that there is AMX 5100 over there. There's an LTTB over there, and we were losing tanks on this flank. And I was just, sort of YOLO cap on. And I decided to put the YOLO cap on because I didn't know what the tank could do. And this is just a way of me trying to figure out, right, is this a good tank or not? Luckily the T20 bounces on the LTTB turret, I can now side pick this shot out of the AMX 5100, 790 blocks in total. Shoot a switch to HE and then whack it into his side, but then again a bit unlucky with that low roll. And here you can see the traverse again. Just look at that. Of course he moved forward and he made the wrong choice, because I can put another shot into him, which is again a bit of a low roll. RNG. But still I'm on 3.5k damage. 790 blocks, not a bad game at all. Yeah, Panther 2 is going down, and we then spot this AT-15 over there. Hello, AT. And I can now start work on you. I bounce a shot on his side, and I'm going to die in the end here because I'm an idiot and I push too aggressive. But I was trying to find out what I could do with this front plate reeling. You can see against an AT-15, which has a good gun, I can bounce a shot. You can then go forward like that. And I'm not going to survive this one because I was thinking, right, if I go forward now and I go back and then he dunks one into the ground. And I wanted to go forward here and then wiggle around and then go forward, and he puts one, he waits. Just as I roll back, he shoots me through the front, which means that that front plate, if you go up on a slope and then pull it back, becomes really strong, because he waited for me to go down because he knew he would pen me then. Brilliant Predator, and as you can see, no boosters on, 111. Of course, 4.7k damage, really good. 1323 in terms of XP is a bit low still for a tier 8 premium tank. But I wanted to show you these 3 first games because they do highlight what the tank can do. Is it a tank worth the money? No, it's not. Way too expensive as it is now. But it is a really good tier 8 premium tank destroyer. So you might want to wait for it to come back in the shop at a lower price later. Anyways, if you play this tank, help your mediums and your lights with your 400 alpha gun. That's the way to play it. You have really strong frontal armor with paper size. Watch out for that. And remember, it's a frontline in your face style of tank destroyer. That's it for today. My name is Martindogger. I hope you've enjoyed the video and I'll catch you all on the next one. Cheers and happy tanking.